Now, before I continue, I did have a question about the patient education, and it was, here, actually, let me go back to it. So does the note still state that the education was printed or sent to the portal? I believe so, but let's test it out. So here I'll select my education. Let's click to send it to the portal. And let's check out to see if it still added that note in treatment. All right, it doesn't look like it did. Let me test it out also from treatment. All right, so it looks like it added the note when I accessed it from treatment, but not from the assessment. And you can put in a support case if they haven't fixed it already. So I would check your system, and if you're having the same issue as me, I would put in a support case. The next enhancement is for in-place notes, and this feature is specific to 11E only. An in-place notes feature has been introduced to several sections of the progress note, enabling you to quickly add information with fewer clicks. You'll see it available in HPI. The little icon looks like a plus sign, and it's right next to that yellow caret. You can also see it under examination, assessment, treatment, next appointment, visit code, and procedure codes. So it's just a quicker way to document by clicking the plus sign. Your default category will be selected, but you can change it. And then add your notes. Then I can go to the next thing. In this example, it's my examination. So my default examination is selected. I can click into add my notes. I can still add my defaults. And notice where I have the little mics, that would mean I can dictate. I can merge defaults. Now all in-place notes, additions, and changes are saved even if you move from one place to another without saving, without clicking OK. So let's say I go to a different item. Then it would still save it over there. So if I look at the exam, you can see it was still added even though I didn't click OK. And it's going to save you a few clicks. So for example, I can add it through there instead of going to HPI, finding my podiatry category, and then adding my note. And then we have a question. How do you determine what the default is? You can set the defaults in your My Settings. Let's click the ECW menu on the left, File, Settings, My Settings. Let's go to our user settings. And at the bottom, you can set a default HPI category and a default examination category. So every user can configure their own defaults there. Also, this feature is enabled by item key. Now mine was turned on by default, but if you don't have it, you can contact support. Refer to item key code 4074. And again, that applied to the browser version only. The next enhancement is that you can search keywords using only one character. I'll demonstrate by showing chief complaints here. So you can start typing and it starts searching results right away. In the past, you had to type at least 3 characters to start getting results. And that applies to both versions, browser and exe. Next, you have Progress Note additional options. These are the next enhancements that we're going to look at. So one of the enhancements is related to addendums. When a locked progress note contains an addendum, when you look at the encounter from the drop-down list, the little lock icon shows red. So that's a visual indicator to let you know an addendum has been added. And when you go to that note, at the top it also tells you in red that it contains an addendum. When we look at the encounters from the encounters window, you'll also see the red lock here. So again, that indicates it contains an addendum. You can clear addendums. That's the next enhancement. To clear an addendum, you'll go to the addendum submenu on your bottom toolbar and click to clear the addendums. This enables providers to clear any addendums added in error. Users must have permission for the security attribute called permission to clear all addendums for a particular encounter. Without that setting, you won't be able to clear. The next enhancement is View Print Logs. A new View Print Log feature has been added. You can access it from the Print submenu on your bottom toolbar, and you can click View Print Logs. And you'll be able to see them here. You can see the user that printed the progress note, the patient, the encounter date, the print type like progress note, the logged status like completed, and the print date. And you would be able to sort by any of these columns by clicking the arrows. The next enhancement is related to the California print style for printing prescriptions. The Controlled Substance Prescription Form for the state of California now displays checkboxes for refills and quantities to indicate the refills and number of units prescribed. You can set the California print style in your practice defaults. Let's go back to the progress note and click the Details submenu. You can access the California Doctor's Report PR2. This option has been added to the Details button of the progress note, enabling you to request treatment, diagnostic tests, or other medical services for injured workers. This doctor report form is a state-required form and is only applicable to practices in California. Next, we have enhancements made to our access logs. On your bottom toolbar, you can click the Details submenu and first generate the access logs. And then you can come back and view the access logs. And some enhancements have been made here. The Progress Note access logs now display the status of medications prescribed from the treatment window. So you'll not only just see the medication, you'll see the status like start, continue, stop, increase, decrease, etc. The Actions column of the Progress Note log window has been enhanced to display additional information on the following sections: problem list, allergies, current medications, histories, and assessments. So the system now will display the source information from where the information is being imported, if any, for the aforementioned sections. So for example, let me close this. Let's say you are viewing a patient that you received an electronic referral. You'd be able to import data to your progress note from the referral itself. Or for any histories, you can import the history from the History tab. Or if you have a health information exchange, you can import that information. And so the logs will now track where the information was imported from. You might see imported from the EHX, that's your Health Information Exchange, or imported from the right chart panel. Another enhancement is a new specialty form has been added. I can access specialty forms from the bottom toolbar. Click the Ink submenu, Specialty Forms. You'll find it under General. It's that Accounting of Disclosures. This form enables you to capture information on the treatment, payment, and healthcare operations disclosures. And that's related to your meaningful use MIPS. Next, we have Smart Form enhancements. Excuse me, hold on. Thank you for holding. My throat got a little dry there. Okay. So before we go to the next thing, we did have a question. It says, does that include P2P records received? If you're talking about the access logs, so that enhancement was if you imported the information into the note. So to do that, it would be from the P2P referral. Well, actually, you might have P2P patient docs here. So if it does allow you to import it from here, then it would include that. I can't remember at the top of my head if I can or not. But if you received an incoming P2P referral, you would see it through here and you would be able to import data from it. So if you can import data into your note, it would log it and show the source info. Okay, we have enhancements related to our smart forms, and one is the tobacco control. New community data elements related to the tobacco smart form have been added to the application. For example, when you choose former smoker, it asks more questions than it did before, like, when did you start? When did you stop? How long has it been since you last smoked? Before you can see these new options, they have to be mapped in your community mapper. Please review the user guides for information on mapping. I will also demonstrate it a little bit here in one of the next scenarios. Our Audit C smart form has also been enhanced. The Audit C is your alcohol screening. A decline to specify option worth 0 points has been added for several questions. Again, you'll need to map the new options in the community mappings before the options are available. You can map your smart forms by clicking the ECW menu on the left, Community, Mappings. In EXE, the community mappings is just at the top. And then we'll go with smart forms. And you'll select your smart form. For example, our Audit C. And you'll select your matching questions. And click Map. Here, I just have to make sure I'm choosing the correct one. And so in some of the questions, they've added a decline to specify. So let me just kind of look at let me look at another example. All right. So you'll select the matching questions, and these items are mapped. So I select Never, Never Map, Monthly, Monthly Map. And these should already be mapped for you. The enhancement is they've added this decline to specify, so you need to map that to your local list. And more than likely, you probably don't have it in your local list. So to add it, select it from the left and click Add. That would add it for you and map it. And so now that would be available on your form. We also have an enhancement to the PHQ2 form. And let me open a new progress note. In 11E, I can access my smart forms at the top by clicking that little smart form button. So they've added this PHQ2 2015 edition. In EXE, your smart forms are on this drop-down. So you have the PHQ2 2015 edition. So this new form has been added. Before you can use the form, it has to be configured. And the form is configured from the form itself. You won't find it in the Smart Form Mapper. So when you first open the form, it'll look like this. It'll say all of the elements have not been mapped, and you'll click here to map PHQ2 2015 edition. You'll see a pop-up called Smart Form Mapping Utility, and you just have to click Create and Map All Elements. So it's going to do it for you automatically, which is nice. And then when you open the form, it's still the 2 questions. The PHQ2 is your 2-question depression screening, but they've enhanced it to include a scoring. And so that's related to the meaningful use MIPS, I believe. When you try to save the form with a score of 2 or higher, the system would automatically open the PHQ9 form. This enables you to easily capture the required information for the depression screening. Again, the difference between this one and the old form is that scoring range. So now if I try to access the regular PHQ2 form, So when you try to open the regular form, you'll just have a link to access the new one. Next, we have enhancements related to immunizations. Let's go to our immunization setup by clicking the ECW menu on the left, EMR, Immunizations, Therapeutic Injections. So we can come here to configure our immunization therapeutic injection validations. This is where you can come to configure what fields are mandatory to document based on the status of that immunization. And they've now added the NDC code. So if you want that to be mandatory for pending or administered or any other settings, you can enable it. Next, let's go to our lot numbers by clicking the ECW menu on the left, EMR, Immunizations, Vaccine lot numbers. You can come here to add lots to your system, and they've added a new lot type of public vaccine stock. The NDC code now displays on the patient vaccine admin record. Let me open that up. And let's say I want to fax the immunizations, the immunization form. So that's the patient vaccine admin record. And if an NDC code has been added for any immunizations, that will now be included on that record. The next enhancements are related to the release concurrency lock. So the concurrency lock itself is not a new feature. It's always been available. That applies when two or more users access the same window for the same patient at the same time. So if I open HPI and then at the same time you try to open HPI and document, the window would be locked for that second user. A message indicating that the window is locked displays for the second user, and after a specified time period, the second user receives a message which they can override to still access the window. So this is a feature that prevents losing data. If I'm documenting here and someone else opens the same window at the same time, and then I come and close the window and they still have it open, then the system is going to clear what I wrote and just add what the second person updated. And so the concurrency lock feature helps to prevent that. So the enhancements to the concurrency lock are as follows. They've extended the concurrency lock feature to include the interactive clinical wizard here on the right. For sections like problem list, allergies, and history, areas that you can merge into the note. So for example, let's say user A clicks the import button next to the problem list, or allergies, or the patient's history. At the same time, user B opens the assessments or allergies or history from the progress note. In this